Hello and welcome to another episode of I'm Just Saying. I'm Robin Battles, and today I want to talk about one of my pet peeves, and that is listing photos. Sometimes I look at these photos and I think, that's fabulous. That's a fantastic picture. The seller has an amazing house. And then sometimes I just have to scratch my head and think, why on earth would an agent want a house that they're representing not to look the best that it can? And I'm not saying you have to spend thousands of dollars on staging every single time you list a home, but let's talk about the simple things. You know, when I walk into a house, I'm looking up and I'm looking down. I'm not looking at the middle of the house because I'm looking at the details, because truly the details absolutely matter. So let me rattle some of my pet peeves, and then I want to explain how I walk through a house and what I'm looking for and what I want changed. So let's start in the kitchen. Let's say you don't have an updated kitchen. It's small, there's not a lot of space, and I will look at a listing photo and I will see all of this stuff stuck on the side of the refrigerator. I'll see every single gadget that they can squeeze onto, 6 feet of counter space. And boom, the picture's taken, and that's what represents your house. And I just don't get that. Okay, I understand the seller may not have the funds. They're doing the best they can with what they have. But honestly, I really feel as your listing agent, it's my responsibility to make that look good. So let me walk you through a scenario. So let's say you've got this tiny kitchen, you've got stuff everywhere, and you think you're ready for photos. And I walk in and I think, oh, no, you're not ready for photos. So here's what we do. The photographer's on the way. I know what I'm in for when I come into this house. So I'm going to arrive at least an hour beforehand, because I know if you've got a tiny kitchen and you've got a bunch of stuff out, what am I doing? I'm getting ahead of my photographer. I'm taking all of that stuff off, putting it in the other room. Then the photographer is going to come shoot that room, and then I'm going to go back and put it all away. And I'm doing that continuously to stay in front of the photographer. Do I want to come and pick up somebody's house? Absolutely not. Do I think it's my responsibility and my reputation to make sure your house looks as absolutely perfect as possible? 200%. I think that's my job. I think it's my responsibility. And I have this conversation with every seller when I go to list their house, because I can't just go in and start moving your stuff. I have to have that conversation to say, look, we're a team and we have to make things look as good as they can. And maybe that client has 3 kids and it's pandemonium constantly, which is totally understandable. Or maybe it's a seller that's older. They don't have the energy. They don't have the finances. They just can't do it. But I want your photos to look the best. So here's a couple of my pet peeves. Now that I've ranted about what you should be doing to make your house look good. Why on earth is an agent posting, can't say it, a picture of a toilet and then a picture with the lid up? I don't understand it. Everybody knows you have a bathroom. Is that the best shot you can do? If you can't get a good shot of a room, don't shoot it. Highlight everything that is great about the house. Here's another one of my pet peeves, and that's countertops. You go into a bathroom and the countertops are just littered with lotions and perfumes and everything else. Why? We're not selling a drugstore, right? We're selling your house, and your bathroom needs to look as good as it possibly can. So once again, what are you doing as the listing agent? You're getting ahead of that photographer and you're wiping off all those counters. And then you know what you do? You put it all back for the owner. But here's what you did. You showed the prospective buyer how good that house is going to look. So here, let me go on. I think you're getting the drift of how I get in front of the photographer. So let me talk about a couple other pet peeves that maybe no one's going to see. So I have a client right now, loves to garden. There is not a yogurt container, a sour cream container, anything that will hold a little bit of dirt that they haven't used to put a little plant in. That's their thing. But now the seller's moved out and I'm left with little white dots all over this beautiful patio. So I get one of my team members, and I don't mean somebody that works for me. What I mean is I've got clean out crews, I've got gardeners, I've got a whole list of people that help me get things done when I list a house. But I can't have little white dots all over a picture, because what the client that might want to buy this house is looking at, they're looking at these little white dots, all these yogurt containers. And here's the thing. When the buyer goes to look at that house, there's water trapped in all these containers. It's not a good smell. Not only is it not a good look, it's not a good smell. These are the little tiny details, because I promise you, these little details add up to dollars a buyer's willing to pay or not pay for your house. And I know you might think to yourself, Robin, you're crazy. You know, no one's going to not buy my house because they see all of my colognes and lotions sitting on the counter, and they know that that's not staying with the house. And truly a valid argument. But I will share with you that decisions about whether a buyer wants to see your house before they want to buy your house are made based on listing photos. So when you have an agent that's walking around with their iPhone, taking pictures vertically the whole time, they're yellowed out, they're crooked, it's just not a good look, please don't do that. It's really not that expensive to hire a photographer, and it might cost a couple $100 more to get a better photographer, but it's so worth it because that's your biggest investment. And then I'll tell you something else that I like to do. And if you ever reached out to the photographer I use, he will tell you this. Edgar will say, why does it take me twice as long to shoot a 1,500 square foot house with you, Robin, as it does for me to shoot a 4,500 square foot house someone else has listed? And he knows that. He books extra time because I will follow him around, not because I don't think he does a good job. I want to make sure that I didn't miss anything. I want to make sure if there was a tag on a towel that you're not seeing the tag in the photo. I want to make sure if there was a little tiny trash can in the bathroom that it was moved. I want to make sure that there's nothing showing in that photo other than how great that room looks showing in your listing photos. So Edgar and I work as a team, and yes, I drive him crazy, but he gives me the best shots. The clients love how their house looks every single time, because what I always want you to remember is it's the reputation that we present about your house. It's like going to dinner in a stained shirt. You really don't want to do that because it doesn't set a good impression. And I don't want your house to look like a stained old t-shirt. I want your house, whether it's picture perfect every single day, or it just needs to be picture perfect for that one day, it has to be the best it can be. I'm just saying, it's a pet peeve of mine, listing photos. Why can't you spend that little bit of extra time? I want your house to always look picture perfect. I'm Robin Battles. I'll talk to you next time.